A little while ago, I made a video called A Look Back on Disney Channel guest star episodes, where I looked back on Disney Channel guest star episodes. The video did pretty well, and I always knew I wanted to make a sequel eventually because I had a lot of fun making it. So, voila, here we are. Today, we will be looking at different episodes of Disney Channel / Disney XD shows featuring at least one guest star and review them. I chose episodes of shows that I either already like or likely am never going to make full videos on for one reason or another. Without any further ado, we might as well just hop into it.
Show what you got. It's on, it's on, it's on. It's on.
Hannah Montana. Y'all know what this show is. It's one of the biggest Disney Channel shows of all time, and it was the launching point of Miley Cyrus's career. The show is no stranger to guest star episodes. It has a bunch, like The Rock, Larry David, Ray Romano, Ayaz, David Archuleta, Fred, and that's just to name a few. During Volume 1, I reviewed the Jonas Brothers episode, even though originally I had planned to talk about the first of the 3 Dolly Parton episodes, hence why she was in the thumbnail of the first one. But because of that last minute switch up, I think it's only right that for this video, I finally talk about the episode featuring her. The episode Good Golly Miss Dolly premiered on the Disney Channel on September 29, 2006. It starts off with Lily and Oliver making a farewell video to their principal Fisher, who is retiring at the age of 65. When Oliver makes his way to Miley so she can say her goodbyes, it turns out Miley has something else on her mind. Someone else, actually. She's staring at a dude she has a crush on named Jake, who's a recurring character on the show. Miley denies that she was daydreaming about him, saying that she doesn't even have any feelings for him anymore, but it's clear that she still does, especially when she's trying to record a song about boys and obviously isn't feeling it. Fortunately for her though, her dad has something that'll cheer her up, a visit from her aunt Dolly, who is played by one of the greatest country singers of all time, Dolly Parton. In the Hannah Montana world, it's implied that this isn't actually Dolly Parton, rather it's just Dolly Parton playing a character with the same name as her, and although her name is Aunt Dolly, it's really just her godmother, which checks out because in real life, Dolly is Miley Cyrus's godmother, so it's not surprising to see her have a guest cameo in this show, let alone 3. Dolly immediately is able to tell that Miley is having boy troubles and tells Miley that whenever she feels like opening up to her about them, she'll be ready to listen. Off topic, but I would love for Dolly Parton to tell me a bedtime story. Like, she just has one of those voices. In no particular order, my top 5 for bedtime storytellers would be Dolly Parton, Felicia Rashad, the narrator from Caillou, Anne Hathaway, but only from this specific interview, and Rogue from X-Men the Animated Series. Honorable mention, the Popeyes lady. Paula Deen used to be on this list, but I fear she might slip in a couple extra words not in the book. Aunt Dolly hangs out around Miley's dad and asks if he could record a message for the folks back home. So he spouts out some nonsense about toothpicks and heads for a jog. While still carrying the camera around, Dolly spots Miley singing outside, and that's when she finally opens up about her boy crisis. The two head back inside to talk about it, and Miley spills more about the situation. She says that Jake platonically likes her because she's the only girl that doesn't fall over him, but if she comes clean about it, then it's like she's falling all over him. Dolly says that if you keep yourself out of the game in fear of losing, there's no way you're going to win. That's a bar. Like, I don't think y'all get it. That's a bar right there. Miley talks about how she really does like Jake, but realizes that Dolly left her camera on accidentally because she's old and doesn't know how to use technology. That came off way meaner than I expected. Dolly suddenly has to dip, but she leaves her camera behind. A little after that, Oliver comes in to record Miley's message to the retiring principal and sets down his camera next to Dolly's. And unless this is your first time watching a Disney Channel show, you know what ends up happening next. While leaving, Oliver mistakes Dolly's camera, which contains Miley's love confession to Jake, for his camera. So later at school, the girls ask Oliver for the camera back, and Oliver respects their wishes. However, he reveals that the film for the camera is with the editor. And guess who the editor is?
Jake. Jake who? Don't go away. Hannah Montana will be right back. Part of Disney Channel's Summer of Stars. We're back with Hannah Montana, part of Disney Channel's Summer of Stars.
Not to sound like one of those kind of people, because I generally do try to avoid it, but this plot really is not something that would work in today's generation, because every teen just uses their phone for stuff like this now, instead of an actual camera. You can, I guess, get away with saying two people have the exact same looking phone, and that's where the confusion would lie, but once one person opens up their screen to see a wallpaper that isn't their own, and potentially a passcode that they don't know, the problem will solve itself right there, immediately. It is kind of funny how much has changed. I mean, even attempting this plot 3 or 4 years later wouldn't have worked. When we return from commercial break, Miley attempts to get the tape back from Jake, but accidentally walks into a debacle of two girls asking for the same thing. However, it's only because they just want to redo it. Jake explains to them that he can't give anybody their tape back because if one person wants to redo it, then everyone will want to redo it. And that man is on a time crunch. Miley and Lily come up with a plan to get the tape back from Jake, and that's when Dolly comes in with a scheme of her own since it's her fault they got into this situation to begin with. It's simple. They sneak into the school at night, which kinda implies there was no security officer there to stop them. L school. This scene is like classic prime Disney Channel, and is one of the reasons why I like this episode so much. Not even just like how the scene is executed, just the motive behind it in general is really wholesome and innocent. A simple girl doesn't want a boy to know that she likes him plot isn't new material, but it's a trope that works really well for season 1 of a Disney show. And then when you consider the classic Disney Channel Mission Impossible type shenanigans that we see in every show, yeah, this is a really nice episode right here. Whoa! What in the world? How funny would it be if this was actually Dolly Parton? Yeah, no, that definitely ain't her. Miley's mission is for her and Dolly to get the tape back, while Lily is a lookout. But their plan reaches a roadblock when they see Jake is in there chowing down on some food. Dolly poses as a janitor with Miley writing in the trash can. She distracts Jake by asking for an autograph, because apparently this dude is an actor. I'm not that well equipped with my Hannah Montana lore, I'm sorry. While she's done, Miley grabs the tapes, and as they leave, Miley gets a smoothie dumped on her head. Which just feels like 2006 Disney Channel, you know what I mean? But the plan worked. Miley was able to retrieve the tapes, and her secret crush on Jake remains a secret. I don't know what's going on in the B plot. They wilded. I'm just have to skip through that. Hannah Montana might have the best Disney Channel transition music, not gonna lie. The only other worthy competitor is Ant Farm in my opinion, especially when trying to be hitting that. After a conversation with Lily, Miley decides it might be best if she just comes clean to Jake about her crush on him. But right when she works up the courage to do that, Jake introduces Miley to his girlfriend, Rachel. Oh man, don't you just hate when that happens? I'm pretty sure their story doesn't end here though. If I'm not mistaken, her and Jake continue to have these kinds of episodes throughout the course of the show. The episode ends with Dolly and Miley's dad comforting Miley over the situation. Dolly compares her current situation to a situation from Miley's early life, where she said she wanted to become a famous singer. But Dolly told her that the chances of that happening are 1 in a million. And young Miley responded back with, "I want to be that one." And because of her taking that chance, she became the singer that she is now. So, Dolly says that even though things between her and Jake don't seem good now, you never know how things are going to turn out. Then, they end it with a rendition of Who Said? No, not the Selena Gomez song of a similar name, because that one wasn't out yet at the time. No, it was actually a song called Who Said? That was a part of the Hannah Montana soundtrack. They're basically the same song, though.
Who said you can't be 10 feet tall? I say that I can have it all. Who said?
You know what? This is a good episode, man. I like this one. It's probably my favorite episode out of the ones that I've seen. It has a simple yet wholesomely executed plot with decent jokes and a fun, likable cast to help carry it out. I can't speak for what Miley's character becomes later on in the show, as I've heard some mixed things, but season 1 Miley really is a pleasant character that in some ways feels relatable. I mean, not necessarily like to me, but you get what I'm saying. Oftentimes kids shows are ran with characters that are hard to root for, but Miley, at least around this time of the show, I guess the word I'm looking for is, I don't know, adorkable? Same kind of applies to Lily as well. And then we got Dolly Parton, who is just one of the most likable celebrities out there according to people that have met her. And yeah, she was equally as likable in this episode too. I'm glad they kept bringing her back. This isn't a Hannah Montana review video. I'm only grading this episode on its quality and not overall impact on the series, so I'll give this episode a solid 8.5 out of 10. It's much better than the Jonas Brothers episode, that's for sure. Now on to the next show.
School's out and summer's in on the SS Tipton. The Sweet Life on Deck is up next, part of Disney Channel's Summer of Stars.
In January 2011, Sweet Life had a 3-part story arc in its final season called Twister, an event that I remember being teased very heavily and one that I most definitely watched live. And while I won't be covering the entire arc, I did, however, want to highlight the first of the 3 parts because it ties in directly to the theme of this video. To give some context to this episode, it takes place immediately after the episode The Play's The Thing, in which Cody puts on a play mocking his breakup with Bailey while painting her in a super negative light, even though I'm pretty sure it was his fault. I don't really remember. So Cody and Bailey are still clearly broken up, and this ties into this episode. Ironically, I think most of the guest star stuff happened in what is technically the B plot, but just to get this out of the way, the A plot centers around Bailey wanting to go home to Kettle Corn for her grandmother's birthday, but her parents are broke and can't afford a plane ticket for her. London, who's getting annoyed at Bailey anyway, suggests that she takes her in her blimp since she's headed to Manhattan and could just drop her off. But when an accident with darts causes London's blimp to crash land, they're now forced to drive the rest of the way. This plot is genuinely horrible, by the way, and I refuse to cover it for the rest of the video. But what does matter is the B plot. Mosby spots Woody and Zach playing basketball and joins the conversation. The boys question what Mosby knows about basketball, and he says that he used to teach his little brother's basketball team. Matter of fact, he says that his brother and 2 of his friends will be arriving later today, and he bets that they would be able to beat Zach, Woody, and whoever they get as their third. Zach is confident in his abilities, so he tells Mosby that the bet is on. If his team wins, he gets to go on a free dinner in the boat with his girlfriend Maya, who's currently away on a trip. If Mosby's team wins though, Zach and Woody have to clean the entire Fiesta deck with their toothbrushes. That's nasty. But Zach agrees to those terms, since he's assuming that Mosby's little brother is a scrub. In short, since every other ball player on the deck is away, Zach enlists Cody to help him out, which surely will go well. A little later, Mosby meets up with the boys and Zach starts mocking his little brother and his friends.
Are they gonna wear their light-up sneakers? Ooh. Actually, those are pretty cool.
And when Zach keeps going, a large figure emerges from behind him. And it gets revealed that that large figure is none other than Orlando Magic All-Star center Dwight Howard. And man, did this guy mean a lot to me as a kid. For those unaware, which shouldn't be any of you because I've made way too many NBA references on this channel, I am a huge basketball fan. It is literally the only sport I watch, the only sport I play, and the only sport that I know anything about. None of y'all want to smoke. I will cross you up so bad you will need ankle surgery. That is a fact. Although I've been a Thunder fan for years, growing up I was actually a Magic fan, and Dwight was one of the main reasons why. It was like him and those random couple of years where Glenn Davis was on the team. They called Dwight Superman because he basically was a real life superhero. He had the body of a Bruce Timm DC character and could literally, but not actually, fly. So when I found out that Dwight would be on Sweet Life, which was my favorite Disney show at the time, I definitely knew I had to watch the episode. And I did. I saw this one live, man. But anyway, as it turns out, Dwight Howard is Mr. Mosby's half sibling. And no, that isn't a high joke. They have the same mom, but different dads. Kind of funny how Mosby has 2 brothers and they're both complete opposites. As it turns out, Dwight's so-called little friends just so happened to be, at the time, All-Stars Kevin Love from the Timberwolves and Darren Williams from the Jazz. Kevin Love was one of the best young prospects in the league at the time, being drafted only a couple years before this episode was filmed, and Darren Williams, one of the best guards in the league until he got injured. But to me, I'll always be thankful for him being part of one of the best YouTube videos of all time. I'm from Dallas. I eat Rudy's. Alright. Going into the episode again, the writers tried their best to give these non-actors quirky lines to help add to their character, and I guess disguise their horrible acting, or at least make it more bearable. For instance, they added in these random throwaway lines about how Darren likes puppies, which is something, for whatever reason, they chose to keep making jokes about. And Kevin Love, well...
5th pick in the 2008 NBA draft.
That's right. And I also got a free hat.
Just a little quirky throwaway line because this is the Disney Channel after all. Later on, they set out all the ground rules for the game and the battle commences. And as you'd expect, it looks like 3 all-star NBA players in their prime going against 3 high school students. They're just getting straight violated.
check ball.
Clean.
This is actually an extremely clever joke, and I don't think you get it if you don't play basketball. The boys continue to get dominated by the All-Stars, but when Dwight gets sick of his brother bossing him and the other guys around and hears about what he's making the boys do if they lose the game, Dwight and them decide to throw the game so the boys can win and get their free meal. With this new plan in motion, the boys go on a run and successfully bring the game within striking distance. Seeing his team get pummeled and knowing his legacy is on the line here, Mosby decides to suit up and play for the team, with Dwight subbing out.
It's time to bring in the real stopper, Marion the Wall Mosby.
Mr. Mosby is one of the greatest Disney characters of all time, bro. What a legend. Even though he put on quite an interesting defensive approach, Zach easily scores on him, which gives the squad the W. What is this dance by Cody, bruh? Zach thanks Dwight and the guys for helping out, and the trio head off to continue their vacation. Mosby hands Zach the coupon for the free dinner, but finds out that it expires that same night, meaning Zach won't be able to take Maya on the date. Seeing the opportunity in front of him, Woody quickly volunteers to eat with Zach, and Zach reluctantly agrees. Oh wait, the NBA guys are still here, never mind. Dwight gives Cody some advice about his girl situation by saying the best thing to do might just be to call her. So he does. But when a tornado starts to break loose in Kettle Corn, the only thing Bailey can say to Cody over the phone is,
Help! Help!
Bailey? Are you there? Hello? Bailey? Bailey?
I'm sorry, I know this is supposed to be somewhat serious. It made me laugh. So this episode ends on a cliffhanger, and the one that is supposed to follow up on this actually premiered the day after this one, so it wasn't a long wait at all. They even do a little teaser showcasing what's next to come from the storyline by using clips of the next episode. Yo, it's Zeke from Zeke and Luther. What's up, bro? Nah, but seriously though, despite the fact that this episode came during what many would consider to be the dark days of Sweet Life, it is actually pretty solid. At least when you skip over the London and Bailey subplot, where it's obvious the writers had no idea how to keep them in the episode, so they just kept doing a bunch of random stuff to fill in the time. As a Sweet Life fan, I was pleased by the quality of this episode. It's not really one of On Deck's best episodes, but it is, however, still a solid watch, especially if you're a basketball fan like myself. I mean, seeing these three guys was definitely a treat for me, both now and back then. They can't act, of course, that's not what they get paid to do, but the roles were still utilized pretty well. It's not as good as the Hannah episode, just because it didn't have that same level of charisma and wholesomeness, but I think it lands at a solid 7. And considering what other episodes we get this season, that's pretty good. On to the next show.
Guess who's coming to Sonny with a Chance?
Sonny with a Chance gets one magical guest star.
Oh my gosh! Selena Gomez!
It's totally a complicated situation. Sharing a scene with Selena, playing Demi's character, Sonny, while Selena's still playing herself. It's really confusing.
Chad, you and Sonny might be good at playing characters, but you're terrible at playing yourself.
It's an episode where everything is not what it seems.
It was really fun.
So look out for Selena Gomez as Selena Gomez on Sonny with a Chance. New episode next Sunday at 8/7 Central, part of Disney Channel's Summer of Stars.
Oh man, I haven't talked about the Sonny with a Chance franchise in a while. The last time I did, well, let's just say things worked out in my favor. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of this show. I never really was. To be quite honest with you, I might even like So Random more. But considering it's been well over a year since I've touched anything related to So Random or Sonny with a Chance, I thought I would finally get into it again for this video. Now this show actually has a decent amount of guest stars, ranging from Shaq, Joe Jonas, and I don't know, Kelly Blatz from Aaron Stone. You know, remember that? But ultimately, I decided to land on this episode of Sonny featuring Selena Gomez because of the fact that Demi and Selena, at the time, meant so much to the channel. I mean, whether it's for the French for Change promos or Princess Protection Program, these two used to be the Disney Channel duo. And I figured this would be one of the few times where I'd actually highlight that on my channel. Anyway, as for this episode, Chad Dylan Cooper is making a TV movie about his life and is casting lookalike actors to play the So Random cast members. But when the actual cast of So Random complains about this, Chad caves in and decides to just cast all of them to play themselves. That is, except for Sonny, who he is making audition for the role. It's worth pointing out for those who aren't familiar with the show that Chad and Sonny have always had a love-hate relationship, mainly stemming from the fact that both have somewhat of a mutual romantic interest in each other. But Chad is obnoxious about it and treats Sonny like trash to mask his feelings. So Sonny tries to audition but can't get past how much Chad gassed himself up in the script. She starts making a scene and this leads to Sonny leaving. But before she goes, she sarcastically wishes Chad good luck because she believes there isn't a single person on this planet that can play Sonny as well as her. But right as she says that, Sonny opens the door to see Selena Gomez standing right there in the hallway. Wow, that was a loud applause. Even I was kind of taken back by that. This also confirms that Sonny with a Chance was filmed in front of a live studio audience, because there's no way the audience sound was pre-recorded. Now, what's worth pointing out is that Selena Gomez is actually playing Selena Gomez in this episode, not just some random character. Now is the time to bring out my chart of the Disney Channel multiverse, something you can find in my Disney Channel multiverse video. In it, you can clearly see that based on evidence like this episode, Sonny with a Chance is in a universe separate from the main Disney Channel universe, or as I call it, Earth Prime. The only other things in that universe are So Random, its spinoff, and the Muppets, who make an appearance in So Random as themselves, not characters. So if this being the case, it makes sense that Selena is appearing as herself in this episode. She's here because Chad offered her the role of Sonny, and she's gladly accepted it. She even adds that this Sonny character is kinda dull, and plans on adding some life to her, which understandably makes Sonny upset. Selena then tries to copy all of Sonny's movements so she can understand and get into the character. At first, Sonny is annoyed by this, but eventually calms down, flattered by the fact that it's Selena Gomez out of all people that's playing her. You know who I would want to play me? Don Cheadle. It doesn't make sense at all. I just think you do a good job. Selena asks Sonny if she's mad that she got the part over her, and she says yes, but she's not necessarily mad at her. She's mad at Chad because he does stuff like this all the time to push her buttons. You know what pushes my buttons? When people call him Static Shock instead of just Static. His name is just Static. It's never been Static Shock. That's just the name of the show and the comic is based on. I just like to let people know that. Later, Selena is about to start filming her first scene as Sonny, and she asks Sonny what her emotions were like during the real life version of the scene they're about to shoot. Sonny says that she was mad because she's always mad whenever she has to see Chad. Then Selena asks if it's because she likes him. And then of course, Sonny gets all shy and in denial about it. You know how this goes. And then Chad walks in to shoot the scene and asks Sonny to leave since extras aren't allowed on set. The scene starts filming and it's obvious Chad is exaggerating the events of what really happened in this scene. What I didn't see coming though is how this scene ends.
I think I made my point.
Good.
Good.
Fine.
Fine.
Good. Oh.
Cut it out!
Stick around for more Sonny with a Chance, part of Disney Channel's Summer of Stars. Let's get back to Sonny with a Chance, part of Disney Channel's Summer of Stars.
After commercial, Sonny gets mad at Selena for kissing Chad because she believes that that isn't true to her character at all. But Selena doubles down on her stance that she likes Chad and even adds fuel to the fire by saying Chad likely likes her back. Even though we all know it's true, Sonny continues to scoff at that idea and angrily storms out. Chad notices this and asks Selena what was that all about, and she says that she's just freaking out because of how much Chad likes her. Chad, like Sonny, denies that claim, and Selena once again doubles down and calls Chad a liar. I honestly like how they're writing Selena in this episode. She's not just some random guest star. They're actually using her in a way that carries out the ongoing love storyline in the series. Although I don't remember how things play out after this, I'm positive that it would have been a lot different had Selena not come in and changed things. In the dressing room, Sonny and Selena have another argument, which leads to Selena deciding that if Sonny thinks she's doing such a bad job portraying her, then she should be on set while filming is going on to give notes and be a consultant basically. Oh wait, before I move on, I did want to mention that there's this pretty funny blooper from the episode that you guys gotta see.
Look at me!
We gotta get back to the wizard world. There's trouble in the lair. Murieta Animata.
David, we're not on set.
What's wrong with this thing?
We're on the wrong set.
Made by Disney.
Yo, what?
While they're filming, Sonny gives notes on Selena's portrayal, which annoys Chad. This goes on for a bit more until an all-out argument breaks out between Chad and Sonny. But this one is a little different than the rest. Instead of arguing about each other, oddly enough, they're arguing about Selena. So really, they're not even arguing, they're just angrily agreeing about the same thing, but it's supposed to mirror their usual arguments. They're both in agreement that Selena shouldn't be running their lives, and if they want to like or dislike each other, they can do it on their own terms, without anyone telling them what to do.
If I want to think that you have pretty hair, I will.
And if I want to think you have sparkly eyes, then I will.
Yes, take that, Selena.
In your face, Gomez.
They do this for like another year, by the way. The two characters then gloat in Selena's face that they finally have taken their lives back and out of her control. Selena angrily walks off because she, like myself, is tired of their constant bickering. Chad asks if this means she won't be in his movie, and she says that she doesn't even need that role because she was in Camp Hip Hop, an obvious parody of the Disney Channel original movie, Cowbells. After Selena leaves, Sonny and Chad start wondering if there was any truth to the compliments they said to each other. And it's kind of left ambiguous, but unless you have the media literacy of a squirrel, you know that this means they do in fact like each other. The episode ends with Chad finally agreeing to let Sonny play herself in his movie, and the entire cast watching Selena perform in her new movie, Camp Hip Hop. Again, a super obvious parody of Cowbells, absolutely nothing else. Like I said earlier, I am not a big Sonny with a Chance fan, but even with that being the case, I feel like I've definitely seen better episodes than this. I personally find both Sonny and Chad to be annoying characters, so I really don't care if these two end up together or not. So naturally, no pun intended, an episode centered around these two and their will they won't they story would not appeal to me. But I will say, Selena's presence in this episode is probably the only saving grace. I do like how they wrote her, and I think having her play what might be an important role in the development of Chad and Sonny's relationship was a good idea. But overall, the jokes didn't land and the constant bickering between the two main leads definitely got annoying, and it made the episode hard to sit through at times. This is definitely the worst episode so far, and I'm willing to give it a 3.5 out of 10, with the only decent parts being Selena's involvement and the admittedly fire theme song. On to the next show.
Disney Channel has the recipe for a perfect all-new Liv and Maddie.
Do you feel you're up for the challenge, or are you going to deflate like a chocolate souffle?
Just stir in special guest Kevin James.
Excellent idea! Who doesn't love a special guest star?
Add 2 scooters.
Don't hate the plater, hate the game.
And mix it all together for a tasty treat.
Let's get ready to whip it and flip it.
An all-new Liv and Maddie, Sunday, April 12th at 8 on Disney Channel.
Why not end on a whimper?
Last time I reviewed Disney Channel guest star episodes, I talked about the Jesse and Ant Farm episodes containing the stars of Grown Ups 2, Adam Sandler, and Chris Rock. This was done on purpose to not only help advertise the movie, as it would be coming out the same year, but was also because Cameron Boyce and China Anne McClain were also in those films. While doing research for those 2 episodes, I came across another actor from these 2 movies that ended up being on a Disney show, that being Barnyard legend Kevin James. Although it was for a different movie, the intention was still the same. Kevin James appeared on an episode of Liv and Maddie, mainly to advertise Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, the sequel to the cult classic first film, which for whatever reason came out 6 years after. The episode Cookaroony came out literally 5 days before the movie made its way to theaters, in case anyone needed any more proof that this episode was really only made for promotional reasons. But in case you need one more piece of evidence, this dude literally rides a Segway in the episode. You might as well have flashed a logo on screen. Typically, I start off by talking about the plot of the episode, but first things first, we need to talk about how much of a banger the Liv and Maddie intro is. Might low-key be a top 5 Disney Channel theme song of all time. I can't lie to you.
That's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that.
Like the instrumental, low-key sound like something you'd hear in the background of a medicine commercial, you know what I mean? Like when the narrator starts talking about ask your doctor if you start peeing fire after taking this medication. But the people in the background be hitting the Quan or something. Anyway, the main plot of the episode is pretty Maddie-centric. Apparently, at some point in time during the show, Maddie hurt her knee, causing her to spend time away from the basketball team. That's crazy. They really Derrick Rosed her. She's ready to rejoin the team, but finds out that she can't at the moment due to her failing her cooking class. So the only chance she has at being able to pass the basketball again is if she manages to pass her class first. So Maddie goes to talk to her home ec teacher, Mr. Clodfelter. Clodfelter says that the only way for Maddie to pass this class is if she wins the upcoming cooking competition being held in the school. And to do that, she's going to have to go against another student.
Funny, I was was just asking myself the same thing.
Oh my gosh, I hate this dude, bruh. Not even the character, I've barely seen this show, just this actor. Not because of any real life reasonings, I'm sure he's a swell chap. It's just he plays the same character in everything he's in, and he's always the annoying guy. I say everything, but really I've only seen him in Kicking It. He had a recurring role in season 3, but man, I just hated whenever he was on screen. He also played this dude named Edwin in the middle, if anyone remembers that. Makes sense. They always had this dude playing characters with this. Never mind, there's probably a dude watching this video named Edwin. His character in this show, though, is named Artie, and so if she wants to pass this class, she's gonna have to beat him. Problem is, she's not very good at cooking. Like, at all. But she gets to work anyway and starts preparing chicken and dumplings, as it's Mr. Clodfelter's favorite dish. Artie comes in to deliver Liv a wedding cake as he has a big crush on her. And after seeing the wonderful job he did, Maddie believes that she has zero chance to make anything even half as good as the stuff that he makes.
I don't care about cooking, you know? The only thing I really care about is basketball.
So real. I've never related to a Disney Channel character harder. Besides all the nerd characters that get picked on, I guess. Hey, real quick, the B plot has to do with Liv thinking that one of Parker's friends has a crush on her. And that plot is fine, you know, it's whatever. But like, come on, man. Y'all Disney Channel barbers doing my guy dirty, bruh. Y'all couldn't have at least gone over to like the Lab Rat set or something and stolen one of their barbers? Like, they ain't doing nothing crazy with Leo, but at least his line was there. Come on, y'all. Anyway, the day of the competition arrives and Artie presents his meal. What do you know? He ended up stealing Maddie's idea to make chicken and dumplings. Man, I could have used that one. That was sick. Low-key could still use that now. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I'm still stuffed up. It's crazy over here. Fortunately, though, Maddie had an idea that would happen and decided to change her idea last minute, thus creating
Madison Square, Meal Garden, the people's snackadium.
A snackadium is next level, though. I can't lie. Hey, if anyone knows how to make this in real life, DM me, and I will invite you to my NBA playoffs party. This really is a good replica of Madison Square Garden, too. All that's missing is... Hey, yo, she kind of hit that, bro. I didn't know she could do that. Clodfelter must be a Knicks fan because bro really enjoys seeing this. So he decides to let Maddie pass, and everyone celebrates. Well, besides Artie.
Poor Artie, so prepared in the kitchen, so unprepared for life.
Man, Artie got cooked. Yeah, get out of here. Nobody wants you here, boy. Anyway, been a while since I've actually watched an episode of Liv And Maddie, but I'll be John Brown. Cookaroony is actually a really fun one. Not really because of Kevin James. Always felt bro was just a discount version of Jack Black, but he was fine. Really, I think this was just a decent episode, even when it wasn't focused on the A-plot. I think what this show has going for it, at least going off of this episode and a few I remember watching, is that it's just not stupid, unlike other Disney Channel shows, especially around this time. There's a certain level of charisma that this show has, almost in a way like Good Luck Charlie. Some kids' coms just feel like they had to be made in order to fill a certain quota for programs aired on a network at a given time. So they end up being pretty bad and generic. Not saying that Liv And Maddie does anything new, but I think it's actually because of that the show ended up being pretty decent from my memory. It didn't take a lot of risks, at least not writing-wise, but it did execute on everything a Disney Channel show should do pretty well. I was never an avid watcher of the show or any Disney Channel series from around this time. If anything, I was only watching a Disney XD. So there's some things that I didn't pick up on or realize until watching this episode right here. For starters, this show is cast perfectly. I built a better connection with nearly every single main character from this one episode than I have with other Disney or Nick shows throughout their entirety. Dove Cameron is actually a pretty funny actress. Definitely more likable than some other main leads on sitcoms like this. And the supporting cast, even the little that we saw from Parker in this episode, left a solid impression on me. Just small things like how he delivers his lines gives me Gabe from Good Luck Charlie energy, and I've always been a fan of that character. Everyone else just feels like normal, chill sitcom characters that I could definitely see myself getting invested in if I ever reviewed the show in full. Which, honestly, I wouldn't rule out. I really did enjoy this episode, and if the rest of the show, or even 75% of it, is like this, I'd probably enjoy binging it. Plus, do you know how many basketball references I could make with Maddie? Come on, man. I'd be putting up better numbers than Bubble TJ Warren. I will say, I am really glad this episode was focused on Maddie and not Liv. Dove Cameron makes her voice higher to differentiate the two, which is a good move, 100%. But man, is it irritating to listen to. But I will say, it does make sense that they ended up getting her as Bubbles for that canceled Powerpuff Girls live action reboot. I totally see the vision of her voice alone. And one of the sweaters she wears in the episode, I guess. The story of the episode was fine. Didn't really utilize the guest star at hand in the best way, but it's not a big deal. I know someone in my comments gonna be like, why are you reviewing Liv and Maddie? It's too new. That's new school Disney Channel. Alright bro, fine. Here goes some Lizzie McGuire for you, bro. Leave me alone.
She can't always speak her mind, so sometimes her mind speaks for her. Lizzie McGuire, next on Disney Channel.
Lizzie McGuire is a show that I've actually never covered on this channel before. Reason being, because as a kid, I was aware it existed, but just never cared. For me, like, I know a lot about Nick shows from the past because I cared about Nick more, but chances are, if there was a Disney show that was not making new episodes by the time I was watching the channel, I probably just didn't pay attention to it. The same goes for shows like Jet Jackson and Even Stevens, although I'm pretty sure I did end up catching reruns of the latter two because they used to air on Disney XD. But even then, I can't name anything important about those shows. Pretty sure it's a dude named Beans in Even Stevens. That's nice. Alright, anyway, I knew I couldn't just go this entire time without mentioning Lizzie McGuire at all, so I figured I'd finally talk about it now. Yay! There's a few guest star episodes in Lizzie McGuire, Aaron Carter, Doris Roberts, Steven Tyler, but the only guest star they had on this show that I even somewhat care about is Frankie Muniz. This man used to kill it in the early 2000s. Malcolm in the Middle, Big Fat Liar, Agent Cody Banks 2, Pizza Man. I don't know what Pizza Man is. Ironically, he was actually in one of those movies with Hilary Duff. See, back then, Frankie and Hilary were like a 2002 version of Miley and whatever Jonas Brothers she dated. Nick? Yeah, there we go. These two were the it couple back then, you know, for like 13-year-olds. So just like how Disney put Miley and Nick in an episode of Hannah Montana, they also put Hilary and Frankie in an episode of Lizzie McGuire. And we're going to talk about that episode. The season 2 episode, Lizzie in the Middle, aired on August 23rd, 2002. And it starts off with
emotion, people.
Hey, yo, back up, bruh. Can't be out here starting episodes like that. Almost punched my computer. Man, get this Walmart brand David Diggs off my screen, fam. Ironically, the teacher's name actually is Mr. Dig. I swear on everything I love and a couple things I hate. I did not know about that at the time of writing that joke. Alright, anyway, Lizzie's substitute acting teacher is talking to the class about yo, this brother doing too much, man. Talking to the class about emotion and stuff. I don't know. And he casually just mentions that he knows Frankie Muniz since he's an acting coach and Frankie is an actor. And while Lizzie and a boy in her class named Ethan are going over lines for the Romeo and Juliet performance, the actual Frankie Muniz pulls up to watch the entire class. And Ethan is starstruck. And once Lizzie turns around, she is too. And the cartoon version of her. We then cut to the intro, and y'all gonna get mad at me. I don't like it. But not in the sense where like it's annoying or that it's objectively bad. It's just kind of boring. Something I'd hear in a commercial. You know, like do a dollop of Daisy or something.
Daisy, Daisy, sour cream, fresh and tasty naturally.
Later at lunch, Frankie actually sits with Lizzie and her friends Gordo and Miranda, and the three get to know each other. He says he's in town shooting a TV movie and thought he'd swing by to see his old friend, Mr. Dig. Before leaving, he asks Lizzie if she'd like to go out, and the only thing Lizzie does is stare, just like every other girl is doing. But then as soon as she says, I don't know, a million girls start rushing over to talk to Frankie to see if they can score dates with him. Later at Lizzie's house, the three talk about her denial to Frankie, and she states that she's simply just too famous. Gordo, who I believe at this point in time might have had a crush on Lizzie, is supportive of the idea of her not going out with Frankie. A little after that, her family walks in and the parents are split on this dilemma as well. The dad, like most dads, doesn't want his daughter dating him, but the mom thinks it would be a good opportunity. Seeing a potential argument brewing, the kids leave the table, which leaves just Lizzie and her family. Lizzie's brother Matt uses this opportunity to present her the chance to have him be her right-hand man, who would handle all business transactions and security needs. And Lizzie surprisingly agrees. I really thought she'd say no. Probably just wanted to get rid of him. Right before dinner, the doorbell rings, and yo, do these people just not lock their doors? They must live in one of them type neighborhoods. Anyway, yeah, it's Frankie at the door. He says that he wants to hang out and get to know Lizzie a bit. So he asks if he can come in, and she says yes. How did this dude find out where she lived? Frankie meets Lizzie's parents, and during a montage scene, we see them play some board games and other fun activities. Eventually, it starts to get late though, and Frankie begins to head home. Before he leaves, he talks to Lizzie about the night they had, and Lizzie invites him to go to the arcade with Gordo and Miranda tomorrow. Frankie agrees to go, then kisses Lizzie and makes his exit. And Lizzie again does not lock the door after he leaves. I guess that's something you could do when you live in a type neighborhood. At the arcade, Lizzie is facing the cons of being romantically involved with a star like Frankie Muniz. Paparazzi and even just regular people are giving her a lot more attention than she desires. As Gordo put it, she's famous by association. Like Thanasis Antetokounmpo. Miranda asks Lizzie when Frankie plans on meeting them, but just as she says that, a mysterious teenager walks into the arcade wearing sunglasses.
Frankie, over here!
Oh my god, Lizzie! The trio try multiple times to save Frankie from the mob surrounding him, but it just doesn't work out. So they come up with a plan that involves Lizzie sneaking into the mob so she can hide Frankie, then point to Gordo, who's disguised as him.
I hate Lizzie.
I cannot wait to see what you have planned for our second date.
Stick around. Disney Channel's original series, Lizzie McGuire, will be right back.
Now back to Lizzie McGuire on Disney Channel.
Lizzie and Frankie start hanging out more, but we start to see the side effects of that. Everywhere they go, the paparazzi are there, and we see all this in a montage. A montage that has Hey Juliet by LMNT playing in the background. Man, what y'all know about that song? That's a banger right there. Top 5 boy band song. I'd play it, but, you know, copyright and stuff. Anyway, the attention that Lindsay is getting is causing a rift in her friendship with Gordo and Miranda. They don't want to hang around Lizzie anymore because of all the attention that comes with it. It's nothing personal against her, or even Frankie for that matter. They just don't want to live with the spotlight on them anymore, and I totally get it. Lizzie and her mom have a heart-to-heart about the pickle she's in, and she says that she doesn't want to end things with Frankie because if she does, it'll just make him lonely, since there's only so many people Frankie can hang out with due to his fame. And her mom says that if she feels that way, then she should tell Frankie directly. And what do you know? This dude just pulls up right behind her mom, like bro was waiting there the entire time. Frankie apologizes for ruining Lizzie's life, and the two come to a conclusion that they shouldn't date anymore in order to protect her privacy. But Frankie suggests that they keep in touch with each other and email and call from time to time, just to catch up, and Lizzie agrees to that. They hug, and right before Frankie leaves, he gives her a letter. Turns out the letter was an invitation to the set of Frankie's newest TV movie, and he gave the same invitation to Gordo and Miranda. Lizzie meets up with them and apologizes for how things went down, and the other two apologize as well for abandoning her. This is where the plot twist comes in though. So basically, Frankie didn't just invite Lizzie to be on the set of the movie. No, he wants Lizzie to play a role in it, which is nice of him, but like Frankie basically being like, hey, sorry about all the fame you were getting by being associated with me. Here, to make up for it, have a role in my brand new movie. Doesn't really make sense to me. Like, it's a fun ending, sure, but I don't think it makes much sense considering what happened earlier, and I'm not sure why Lizzie would agree. But regardless, the episode ends with the gang watching the movie on TV. What, did they just fast track that movie? How did they release it so fast? Although I guess it could be a scene like 6 months into the future. Obviously, with me not being into Lizzie McGuire like that, I can't really speak about how this compares to other episodes of the show. However, this is a pretty decent episode. I'm not Anthony Fantano, but I'm feeling a light 7 on this one. One of the things that stuck out to me the most while watching this episode is I immediately noticed how much this show set the tone for other live-action cartoon-styled sitcoms that came after it. Zeke and Luther, Big Time Rush, Nezra Classified, they all have a little bit of Lizzie McGuire in them, which is pretty cool. There are moments in this episode that felt like I was watching one of those shows, and considering I like all of those shows, it made it a decent watch. It's a fine episode, one that I possibly would appreciate more if I went back and watched other episodes of the show. I mean, look, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'll never ever review Lizzie McGuire on my channel. But when you look at my channel's age demographics, it's clear that the 18 to 24 age range watches my videos the most. And at the end of the day, if I want my channel to be successful, I do kind of have to stick with what my main audience finds nostalgic. Granted, it's not impossible to be nostalgic for things that weren't from your era. After all, I still have a bunch of nostalgia for stuff like Tom and Jerry, or strangely enough, the Incredible Hulk live-action series. But even then, there are likely more people in this demographic that didn't watch Lizzie growing up than did. Frankie Muniz's role in this episode, although being the focal point of it, didn't really stand out much to me. Like, this episode doesn't change if you just create a random in-universe celebrity and cast some random teen in the role, if that makes sense. Like, Selena and Sonny with a Chance and the NBA players in Sweet Life, I feel, had better roles in their respective episodes. But this one was just kind of like, oh, hey, cool, it's Frankie Muniz. Which is weird because I like Malcolm in the Middle, so you'd think I would have had a bigger reaction. But it is what it is. Like I said, decent episode, better than the Sonny one, that's for sure. On to the next one.
Phineas and Ferb become Danville's newest superhero, the Beak.
Ready, Ferb? Let's wing it.
Oh, yeah.
While one supervillain tries to ruin everything.
If you were here to give Danville the best day ever, then I'm here to give Danville the worst day ever.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, I can see it wrapped around the legs.
And Candace is suiting up too.
Call me the Dangeraf.
Ben Stiller guest voices on an all-new Phineas and Ferb Secret Agent Showdown episode. Friday at 9/8 Central on Disney Channel.
Now, when I was trying to figure out which Phineas and Ferb episode to talk about, I admittedly had a hard time. The show has had a lot of guest stars. Seth MacFarlane, Kevin Smith, Tina Fey, Wayne Brady. I could just keep on going. The issue though is that some of these guest stars had a pretty minimal role, so it was hard for me to justify talking about the entire episode. I wanted to talk about the episode, Dude, Let's Get the Band Back Together, and I even wrote notes for that one. But Steve Zahn's role in it was so small, I just couldn't do it. So then I remembered the episode featuring movie star and avid Knicks fan Ben Stiller, so I was like, hey, why not, you know? The season 2 episode of The Beak aired on March 8th, 2010. It starts off with Phineas and Ferb finishing their latest and greatest creation called The Phineas and Ferb Edge of Insanity, Kiss Your Butt Goodbye, Gravity's a Stone Cold Sucker Nightmare, Acting Like Sour Milk all on the floor, it's your fault, you didn't shut the refrigerator, maybe that's the reason I've been acting so cold. Kidding, that's not what it was called. Shout out Gwen Stefani though. When Ferb hands Phineas his skateboard to try it out though, he accidentally drops it, which sends it down the track. And as the boys watch it go down, they realize that maybe their idea wasn't to save this one out there. Where did they get a leopard from? After the board blows up, they realize they need to make some revisions to the ramp. But an idea occurs to Phineas that instead of making alterations to the ramp, they should make alterations to themselves so they can go down it unscathed. After cooking up a suit that has a surprising amount of Bulgarian folk-related elements, the duo puts it on.
Okay, video link active.
That kind of reminds me of the old Iron Man cartoon that turned into 3D animation for some reason whenever he'd suit up. Y'all remember that? That was so weird. Anyway, the boys go down the ramp, this time with their new super suit, and things go in their favor. But right as they reach the end of it, they hear a call for help from their friend Buford, who is seemingly in distress. Turns out Baljeet is stuck in a tree, and Buford needs him to come down so he can work on his math homework. Just then, Phineas and Ferb grab him as he falls, so he doesn't go splat onto the pavement. But that'd be nuts. Can you imagine if they ended the show like that? Like Baljeet just dies, and then you cut to commercial and it's the Bella Thorne dyslexia ad? That would be crazy. I don't know why I wrote that, man. It's 2:40 a.m. right now. My brain is cooked. The boys manage to stop themselves and come to a relatively decent landing, which involved the contraption that they built getting destroyed. Thanks to Isabella, who for this episode will be taking the role of Lois Lane, word starts to get passed around that there's a new superhero in town. That hero being Phineas and Ferb in their new suit, but have been given the name The Beak. Unfortunately, the news has gotten out to everyone, including a man named Cockapoo, who was played by Ben Stiller, of course. Now, this isn't the only Ben Stiller and Phineas and Ferb crossover, surprisingly. They used to have this talk show called Take Two with Phineas and Ferb, where the duo would interview celebrities, and one of the celebs they interviewed was actually Ben Stiller. Tom Bergeron was also on the episode for some reason. Anyway, back to the episode. Cockapoo is a miserable lowlife who doesn't want people to have fun. So when he hears about the Beak, he decides that it's up to him to ruin their coming out party. So while the Beak is flying around, Poo hits them with his arm, making the Beak crash into a building. That leads to an all-out brawl between the two, or I guess technically three. The Beak is able to neutralize Cockapoo, but he swears that this won't be the last time they'll see him. Just then, Isabella asks the Beak for an interview, but they end up flying away since they can't get too close to her, as that might lead to her discovering their secret.
We can't tell Isabella we're the Beak now. That would put her in danger. The life of a superhero is a lonely one, Ferb. Even after only 11 minutes.
What will become of our heroes now? Find out in the next exciting episode of The Beak!
Disney Channel summer is Phineas and Ferb. They'll be right back. Phineas and Ferb is back on Disney Channel Summer.
When we return from a commercial break, Candace talks to her friend Stacy about how she believes that Phineas and Ferb are the Beak, since generally they're responsible for all the weird stuff that happens in that town. So she decides that since she's the official Phineas and Ferb buster, that she will bust the boys as their arch nemesis, the Danger-Raff. Cool name, cool name. Reminds me of something you see from like a 60s Teen Titans comic. Isabella confronts the boys about their whereabouts recently, since from her perspective, it seems like they've been missing a lot. She informs them about the Beak, but the two do that thing commonly found in superhero media where, in order to keep their secret identity hidden, the superhero's alter ego scoffs at the idea of the superhero. This leads Isabella to walk away. Rather sad, might I add. Ain't no time for that silliness though. Phineas and Ferb got a city to save.
Ready, Ferb? Let's wing it.
No, wait, that's a bar. Get it? Because, like, the Beak is a bird-themed superhero. The Beak flies off once again to save the city from the villainous antics of Cockapoo during a montage scene. But interrupting this is Candace, dressed as the Danger-Raff, and Stacy, who's dressed as the Dangerable. Candace is trying to make Phineas and Ferb out themselves as the Beak by attempting to steal their mother's purse. But by the time the two arrive, it's obvious that nothing bad has truly happened, and it's just Candace being Candace.
Admit it, you two are superheroes.
Well, Ferb has been working out. Thanks for noticing.
Tell her the truth. You're making me look ridiculous.
Way too easy.
The mom of the show has such good one-liners, bro. They wrote her perfectly. Tipped off over what happened earlier, Candace storms off back home. Along the way, though, she runs into Cockapoo, who tries to recruit Candace into teaming up with him to take down the Beak. Candace isn't aware that this is real life, and not some game that Phineas and Ferb are playing with their friends. And although you know what? I'm just gonna call this man Ben Stiller for the rest of the episode. And although Ben Stiller is a pretty crummy bad guy, he still is a real bad guy, which isn't registering with Candace. So that's why she teams up with him, because ultimately she just wants to bust her brothers. Phineas and Ferb try to head back to the nest, but are interrupted by Isabella, who is also interrupted by Ben Stiller. This dude just starts spraying people with water. And although Isabella wants the two to stay with her to help her report on the situation, since like I said, she's Lois Lane today, they can't. They gotta once again lock in and become the Beak to put an end to Ben Stiller once and for all. Meanwhile, in the B plot,
Could you come in here?
That would be a bowl of mints.
I've got my finger in a bowl of mints?
Yes, you do.
Oh, well, that would explain why there's so many buttons.
Back to the A plot, the Beak arrives in downtown Danville to stop Stiller from wreaking havoc. This is when he unveils his new partner, the Danger-Raff. At first, the Beak doesn't want to attack because Candace is in the vehicle. Once she leaves after getting offended by a remark Stiller made, he charges full force at him. They engage in a kinda epic battle. At one point, Isabella Lane falls off a building because you're not a superhero love interest unless you're falling off of stuff. And the Beak has an interesting conundrum on their hands. Do they save Isabella or save the people that are about to get crushed by a building? This is a very Spider-Man 1 type scenario here. Isabella slips, but Phineas is able to grab her right before she falls. And if you're wondering how he's able to do that and what happened to the Beak, Ferb always be coming in clutch, bruh. He's like the Damian Lillard of Phineas and Ferb characters. Isabella thanks Phineas for saving her, and then Phineas jumps off the building in order to get back into his Beak suit. The Beak tells Isabella that Phineas is safe and landed on a ledge. Then they fly right to Ben Stiller and battle him for a little bit. But Phineas realizes that all this guy wants is to ruin everyone's best day ever, simply because of the fact that he never had one. So Phineas and Ferb decide to come clean as the Beak in order to end this feud. If there's no superhero, then there's no supervillain, which is something that Stiller himself even brings out. Phineas tries to help him have the best day ever by inviting him over to assist in rebuilding their skate track from earlier. And at first, Stiller actually does consider it. It's not until he realizes how hot it is when he decides against it. But then, his wife from earlier in the episode, who was actually voiced by Ben Stiller's real wife, Christine Taylor, angrily demands that he takes her shopping to buy more throwing chairs. And we never see him again. Actually, apparently he appears in the roller coaster musical episode, but let's just pretend we never see him again. Isabella apologizes to Phineas for doubting him earlier, and the two make up. And the episode ends with all of Danville walking to the Fletcher/Flynn household to get some snacks. All right now.
Hello, entire lower half of Amazing Superhero here. I guess there's no glory in thighs.
Man, look at Ferb. I feel bad for him. But anyway, yeah, the episode ends with the narrator guy signing us all out. Thanks, narrator guy. Alright, so this is definitely, for me, the most divisive episode yet. There are things that I like about it, but I do have some issues. For instance, I know we're not supposed to like Cockapoo-Poo, obviously, but like, I feel like there was a better way to handle him. I 100% feel like they should have gone with a more sympathetic route with the character. His whole thing is that he's never had a good day in his life, so therefore, he doesn't want anyone else to have a good day. We don't really get into why though. His life is just bad off rip. I mean, granted, it's implied that there are issues with his wife and stuff, but I think it would have been better if you had some sort of flashback showing all the times as a kid where he almost had a good day, but it was squandered by something happening. Think about all the things we used to like as kids that made our childhood. Like, oh, 8-year-old Kaka is about to get his first bike, but then a truck runs over it. 15-year-old Kaka is about to ask out his crush, but then some guy steals her from him. 18-year-old Kaka is about to get his first car, but then that same truck that ran over his bike also ran over his car somehow. That way this episode could have ended with Phineas being a little sympathetic and being like, hey dude, I know your life is tough. Let me and my brother try to give you the best day ever. Which, to be fair, was actually attempted. But then everything kind of fell apart when Kaka said, oh nah, it's too hot outside to help you guys. Wham, wham, wham. Like, really? I feel like that could have ended a little better and would have made sitting through 20 minutes of this irritating and unfunny character relatively bearable. As for Stiller himself, he was fine, I guess. I feel like it was kind of weird to bring in one of the biggest movie stars at the time just to waste him on a character like this, but alright. Fortunately though, just about everything else outside of his character was pretty solid. I liked the superhero vibe of the episode. I liked Isabella's little Lois Lane subplot. Candace was kind of annoying, but when isn't she? The mom came in and did her thing, which is always nice to see, and Phineas was, well, Phineas. I will say, Phineas and Ferb's humor can be hit or miss with me sometimes, and in this episode, there definitely was a good amount of misses, but still, it was a 7 out of 10. Definitely not one of my favorites, but it's not bad. My favorite episode of Phineas and Ferb, though, is Out of Tune, where they create a cartoon with superpowered versions of themselves. Now, that one is sick. But, yeah, moving on to the next and final episode.
I'm Billy Unger. Coming up next is Lab Rats on Disney XD.
Like I said in the opening of this video, to switch things up from my last one, I decided to include a Disney XD show, since they deserve love too. Now, I could have included the Zeke and Luther episode with Tony Hawk or the Parrot Kings episode with Dwight Howard, but instead, I wanted to talk about a show that I know for sure I will never make a video on. It's funny too, because like when I dropped my Kickin' It video, I got a lot of people asking me to make similar style videos for shows like Lab Rats and even Mighty Med, and like it's cool that you guys want me to do those videos, but they've already been done, and I want to do stuff that hasn't been done. So I will not make entire videos on those kind of shows. I will, however, use videos like this to at least cover those shows to some capacity, because at the end of the day, I do kind of like some of them, so I still want to talk about them to some extent. And that is why today we will be talking about one of my favorite Lab Rats episodes, Back from the Future, guest starring actor Tyler James Williams. Or as many people like to call him, Everybody Hates Chris. That show is amazing, by the way, one of the funniest shows ever made. What's interesting about this episode, though, is of course the fact that Tyrell Jackson Williams, aka Leo, is his younger brother. This entire family is known for having extremely strong genes. They all basically look like clones of each other. So the fact that someone on the Lab Rats crew recognized this and decided to make an episode where they play the same character, one from the present and one from the future, is pretty sick. Also, considering Let It Shine aired a week after this was no doubt part of the marketing campaign for the film. The episode starts off with Adam, Bree, and Chase preparing for a mission, but interrupting them is an older version of Leo coming from the future. Big Leo gets out the time machine and identifies himself, which brings a whole bunch of confusion. All the confusion goes away though when Leo and Big Leo perform a handshake that only they would know. Then everybody just gets all excited and stuff. Turns out Big Leo is from 7 years into the future, but unfortunately gets revealed that Adam, Bree, and Chase don't actually come back from the mission they're preparing for, which is a TVY7 way of saying that they die.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Forgot to pack my pudding.
Big Leo shows Leo and Davenport a video from the future explaining what happened to the lab rats, and they're shocked to see Davenport's biggened appearance.
The next 7 years are pretty hard on you, Big D.
Or should I say, bigger D? Am I right?
Nah, you probably shouldn't, honestly. Future Davenport explains that although messing with the timeline is very tricky, in this case, it's the only way to save Adam, Bree, and Chase from their deaths. He is instructed to send the robot in their place instead. Davenport agrees to do this, but tells the two Leos to not tell the lab rats about this because it might shake their confidence for future missions. This gets increasingly hard to keep up though. The lab rats are ready for their mission, and Davenport tells them to not go. Meanwhile, in the B-plot, Big Leo starts telling Leo all the wonderful things that are awaiting him in the future, like how he marries Janelle, aka Payne from the game plan, and Little Girl from Cory in the House. However, it gets revealed that due to them feeling untrusted by Davenport since he's sending in a rover instead of them, Adam, Bree, and Chase went on the mission anyway, which means in order to save them, Leo has to ditch his movie date with Janelle. Surely this won't mess up their relationship.
Dear Mr. Davenport, we went to stop the collider. We know we won't make it back, but that's a small price to pay to save you, Leo, and the rest of the world. P.S. Sorry we get blown up. Pretty sure Adam wrote that last part. I'm Tyrell Jackson Williams. We'll be right back with Lab Rats on Disney XD. I'm Tyrell Jackson Williams, and you're watching Lab Rats on Disney XD.
Earlier, it was explained that there's a particle collider that is accelerating out of control, and they need to shut it down before the world blows up. So with that knowledge in mind, the lab rats begin their mission. Adam opens up the control panel, and Bree runs to use her super speed off camera to create a vacuum around the collider, which will slow it down. After she does that, all three of them talk about the things that they won't be able to do, since this will, apparently, be their last mission. How funny would it be if they actually died in this episode? And this is how they ended Lab Rats. That would be pretty nuts, right? I don't know why I keep writing jokes like this. Meanwhile, Leo wants to save Adam, Bree, and Chase himself, but Big Leo was worried about what that would do to the timeline if he's the one that dies instead of the lab rats. He's adamant on letting the rover do its job, but Leo is even more adamant on going in himself. So that's when they decide that if he's going to do it, they're going to do it together. Back at the collider, things aren't going as planned, so Chase decides the only way to stop it is to fry the control panel, which actually ends up working. Their celebration is cut short, however, by Mr. Davenport, who is controlling the rover, and Leo. Leo warns Adam, Bree, and Chase to get out the way before the roof falls on them, but due to the loudness of the alarm, they're not able to understand them. So he decides to go in himself to push them out the way, which is kind of useless because he could have just ran in there to tell Bree to use her super speed to zoom them out, but whatever. Bree is seriously the worst speedster ever, bro. Her reaction time is horrible. Anyway.
No! No!
Everyone starts freaking out over the apparent death of Leo, but are quick to realize that if he truly is dead, then Big Leo should be dead too. This leads them to look for him under the rubble. And what do you know, the accident that apparently killed 3 bionic humans ended up doing nothing to the undersized 14-year-old. They never really explain how either, it just kind of happens. The gang managed to escape and head back home. Leo gets grounded for sneaking into the collider, but Adam, Bree, and Chase, for whatever reason, don't. They all should be equally grounded. They both did stuff behind Davenport's back. One of my favorite moments of this episode is when Davenport reveals that Janelle dropped by and was visibly upset over Leo ditching their movie date. This leads to Big Leo taking out his hologram phone to show the picture from earlier has changed from Janelle to a dog.
Everybody hates Chris.
Big Leo says that since the mission is over with, there's nothing really keeping him here. So he heads towards the time machine to go back to the future, and they all say goodbye to him. He then later gets a job at an elementary school and meets Quinta Brunson. Good for him. This episode is one of my favorite episodes of Lab Rats, and for good reason. For the most part, the jokes landed pretty well, which is rare for a Lab Rats episode. The chemistry between the Williams brothers was unmatched, and it makes me a little sad that he never comes back in this show. Funny enough, Tyrell actually played a younger version of Tyler's character in Everybody Hates Chris, so things kind of came full circle in this episode.
Who spilled this oatmeal? Wasn't me.
Would you believe those were his first words?
I don't know, man, this episode doesn't really have many weaknesses. It's one of the few episodes where every character is pretty likable. And the plot was pretty good too. Ultimately, I feel like this was a really strong episode, and I'm willing to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Call me crazy, but I actually think this was the best episode of the entire video. I'm glad it was able to end on a high note.
Hey, I'm Spencer Bullman from Lab Rats. And you're watching Disney XD.
Well, that'll conclude today's video, folks. Hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. If that's the case for you, please make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that like button. I'd also like for you to let me know your favorite episode from this video. If you want though, no pressure. And then of course, I've made 2 Disney Channel videos now, so naturally the next move would be to make a Nickelodeon one. If that's something you'd want to see, then let me know in the comments below. Not doing a Cartoon Network one though, that's for sure. Message received. Check out my Patreon if you want to see content earlier than everyone else. Also subscribe to my second channel, simply titled Nostalgia, for more of me. I am Mr. Nostalgia, and I am out for now.